Set up for frog pose by sitting on your heels or on a block between your heels. You may wish to spread a blanket across your mat to pad your knees, as I'm showing. And once your blanket is in place, spread your knees wide and sit back again on your heels or block. Now lean forward on your hands and hold this position. If this is comfortable for you, try to take your knees a little bit wider apart. And walk your hands a little further forward. But remember, as in all our forward bends, stop when you feel to go further would be too much stretch for your legs, or if you can no longer breathe steadily. You can also use your hands to push your hips towards your heels. If possible, rest on your elbows, or even lay your chest on the floor. Work at your own pace, knowing that progress in these sorts of poses comes slowly for almost everyone. Try to take your knees a little bit wider and feel how broad the hips are. Let your steady breath keep your belly calm. To come out of frog pose, walk your hands under your shoulders and push back up to sit. Bring your knees together. That might be a little awkward. And you're sitting on your heels again. Set up for downward facing dog pose by kneeling on all fours and with your hands a few inches forward of your shoulders and about shoulder width apart. Spread your fingers and firmly press the ball of your thumb and index fingers to the mat. Breathing in, lift your knees, and breathing out, come up onto the balls of your feet. Only straighten your knees about halfway and spread them a little wider than hip width. That will help you lift your sit bones and stretch your hips more. Keep your head between your arms and push the hips towards the rear of your mat. If you can keep your sits bones fixed, begin to straighten your knees. Do this slowly and patiently. They may not straighten at all. If they do straighten, send your heels back and down. But it's very important that you work at your own pace. Keep your breath steady. And notice how this inverted pose helps you to breathe out fully and completely. Keep the pose active. Heels push back. Arms push the floor away. To come out of downward dog, come slowly back to your knees and sit up on your heels. Quarter dog is one of my favorite poses. It's the quickest way I know to squeeze tension out of the upper back. You begin on your knees and your forearms. Interlace your fingers, positioning your elbows slightly closer together than shoulder width. Keeping your hips fixed in line with your knees, begin to walk your elbows slowly forward, resting your head on the floor between your arms. And remember, keep your elbows near your ears. Breathe steadily and quietly, beginning to relax your upper back muscles. You can press your chest slightly toward the floor. Take your time with this and resist the urge to spread your elbows. Keeping the elbows in isolates the movement to your upper back, and it will feel great. Continue to breathe steadily, letting your whole spine hang from your hips. As you stay, the tight muscles in your upper back will begin to unwind, allowing you to adjust. It's possible to rest your chin on the floor and bring the chest even closer to the mat. But keep those elbows in and continue to breathe well, especially focusing on exhaling. Now slowly lower your arms to the floor and push yourself back, hips to heels, to child pose. Begin this cobra flow sitting on your heels. Then bend forward and walk your arms forward until you can rest your head on the floor between your arms. Keep your hips over your knees to maximize the stretch in your upper back. Stay with this wonderful back opener, letting your steady breath slowly undo tension in your muscles. Continue to keep the arms flowing forward and feel the weight of your chest dropping closer and closer to the floor. You may even be able to rest on your chin. Notice how the longer you stay with this, the more your muscles relax. Give yourself the time to really undo this tension, to slow down. You can feel your body wants to. Now press your hands to the floor. And rounding your lower back, come up onto hands and knees, shifting your weight forward, then lowering your hips and lifting your chest to wide cobra pose. Pull your abdomen gently in and up, and strongly lift your chest. Gaze slightly down and breathe steadily, keeping your inhalations and exhalations equal. Now rest on the floor and reposition your hands under your shoulders, moving them slightly forward if your back feels stiff. Root the feet and leading with the head, breathe in, curling up to classic cobra pose. Bring your side ribs forward and lift the chest. pushing with your arms to help roll the shoulders back. Now push back to child pose, resting here for a few breaths to relax. Your spine will enjoy moving from the forward bend to the back bend, and it will increase your flexibility. Now, walk your hands forward and lie face down on your mat. And stretch your arms forward with your palms turned in, pointing the toes. Keeping your hands on the floor, inhale, curling your head and chest up into a back bend. Your hands may be pulled slightly toward the mat by this action. Each breath in, expand and lift the chest. Each breath out, draw the lower abdomen slightly in and up. Use this action to raise your rib cage off the floor if possible. Continuing to breathe is critical. Release and rest in crocodile pose, head on hands. Steady the breath. Now extend your arms forward again. The arms stay active throughout the pose. Root the feet. And inhaling, curl your head and chest up again to the back bend. The exhalation draws the belly in and up, bringing the ribs off the mat if possible. Plant your feet, press down with your tailbone, and breathing in, stretch your arms strongly up, raising them as high up off the floor as you can. The key to this strong pose is to keep breathing and keep moving. Each exhalation draws the belly in and up and actively stretches your arms. Inhale and rest again in crocodile pose. Let's do that again. Stretch your arms forward, palms in. Breathing in, curl your head and chest up to a back bend. Breathing out, draw your belly in and up. Root the feet, root the tail. Breathe in, stretch the arms forward. Breathe out, raise the arms up, off the floor as high as they'll go. Try to lift the chest even more. And rest. Listen to your breathing, extending the out breath so that it is equal to the inhalation. One more cobra pose, positioning the hands under the shoulders or slightly forward. Breathe in and curl your head and chest up. Holding this position without your hands. Pause and try to deepen the arch in your upper back further. And now push the floor away, coming higher into your back bend until your arms are almost, but not quite straight. Push the floor to roll your shoulders back, bringing your elbows as straight as possible. Breathe, feeling the wonderful openness of your chest. And then breathe in, push back to child pose. And breathing out, settle into this deep rest. and then coming up to sit on your heels. Stand tall with your feet parallel and hip-width apart. Breathing in, raise your arms, and breathing out, stretch the arms strongly overhead. Keeping your breath steady, mouth closed, each breath in, equal in length to the breath out. With your right hand, hold your left wrist, and breathing in, stretch to the right, pulling on your left arm, and coaxing a stretch in your left side ribs and waist. Continue to breathe steadily, and try to stretch your left side slightly more. Breathing in, stand up and change sides. Left hand holds right wrist. Pull the arm up, lift the shoulder blade. And breathing in, stretch to the left. Breathing out, pull your arm as far over to your left as possible. Feeling the wonderful stretch in your right ribs, waist, even your hip. Keep your hips level and over your feet. And always, and this is so important really, continue to breathe mindfully and steadily. Inhale to release. Stretch the arms up and slowly lower them, bringing your palms together at your chest. Stand with your feet hip-width apart and parallel and shift your weight to one leg. This is your standing leg. You want to firmly ground it by pressing your foot to the floor. As you breathe in, raise your free leg, placing your foot as high up the inside of your standing leg as possible and stretching your arms to shoulder level. Now turn your palms up and on an exhalation, stretch your arms overhead. If you're not able to raise your foot as high as I'm demonstrating, try putting your foot by your knee or your toes on the floor and your heel on your ankle. Draw your belly in and up, breathing steadily. Keep your balance as you join your palms at your chest. And step back to mountain pose, feet hip-width apart. Shift your weight to your second leg. Create a strong and conscious rooting through that leg as you place your foot as high on the standing leg as possible and extend your arms strongly to the side. Drawing in and up in the belly will help you relax your neck and shoulders. As you extend your arms overhead, keep your breathing steady and your gaze fixed forward and slightly down. Now bring your palms together at your chest. Hold your balance. And step back to mountain pose, palms together at the chest. Stand with your feet wide apart and parallel, stretching your arms out at shoulder level to help line your hands up with your feet. Now hold your hips. For triangle pose, rotate your right leg out 90 degrees, making sure you turn your leg out enough that your knee faces your toes. Turn your left foot and hips to the right only about 10 degrees, lining your heels up for greater stability. Now stretch your right arm up by your ear, creating a strong stretch from your side ribs to your fingertips. Keep that stretch as you inhale, sliding your hips towards the rear of the mat, and exhaling, bring your right hand down to your leg, to the floor by your right big toe, or use a block under your hand if you wish. That can be very helpful in the beginning. Looking down, press down through the right fingers Feel how that helps you lift your chest, pulling your left collarbone up and shoulder back. And as your heart opens, turn your skull to the left. If your neck bothers you, try relaxing it and letting your head hang a bit. And of course, don't turn your head at all if it's uncomfortable to do so. Breathing in, extend your left arm up, pulling your left shoulder back even more to deeply awaken the upper back. Don't expect to be able to follow every cue right away. I promise you'll improve as you practice. Breathe in, release, and come up to stand. Lift up out of your legs and hold your hips. Let's do the second side. Turn your left leg out 90 degrees, making sure your knee faces your toes. That little adjustment is worthwhile making because it keeps your knee happy. Turn your right foot and hips slightly to the left, lining your heels up. Now stretch your left arm up by your ear and breathing in, slide your hips to the rear of your mat. Exhale, placing your hand on your leg, by your big toe, or on a block. And pressing down with your fingers, engage a lift that comes up through the chest and into the right shoulder, pulling the right collarbone away from the center chest. Pull your shoulder back and begin to turn your head from your heart, a spiral that rotates all the way to the belly. Inhale as you extend your right arm strongly and gaze at your hand. Though remember, if your neck bothers you, don't turn your head at all. Keep your breath steady. The breath times the pose. Being able to breathe out strongly will keep you in the pose longer. You come out of the pose on a breath in, beginning to stand, and exhale, stand up from the hips and step your feet together. Side angle pose. Stand with your feet wide apart and parallel with each other. Stretch your arms out at shoulder level to use as a measure to position your feet in line with your hands. Shorten or widen your stance a bit if need be. Then hold your hips and turn your right leg out 90 degrees, turning the thigh out enough that the knee faces the toes. Turn your left foot and hips to the right a little bit. Line your heels up for greater stability. Now stretch your right arm up by your ear and breathing in, slide your hips towards the rear of the mat. Breathing out, stretch out over your right leg, bending your knee to form a 90-degree angle. Arm inside the knee, fingers by the ankle. Stay grounded in the back leg, spreading the ball of the left foot and pressing the outer edge down. Now press down through your right hand, lift your left collarbone and pull your shoulder back. Swing your left arm down toward the floor and then up alongside your ear, spinning your upper arm behind the ear. Inhaling, rotate your skull left and exhale to pull your chin into your arm. Keep your breathing steady. Back leg strong. And keep the pose dynamic. Breathing in, come up to stand, and breathing out, lift from the legs, holding your hips as you change sides. Left leg turns out 90 degrees. Right leg and hips turn about 10 degrees in. And stretch your left arm up by your ear, breathing in. Slide your hips towards the rear of the mat, stretching out, bend your left knee 90 degrees. Fingertips down by the inner heel. This pose is strenuous, or I find it to be. When we exert too much effort, our breathing can be strained, so focus on keeping the breath steady, breathing with the mouth closed, inhalations and exhalations equal. Pressing down through your left hand, lift the chest as you swing your right arm down and up alongside the ear, rolling your right ribs back and turning your head to bring your chin near your arm. Lean against your knee slightly as you pull your right collarbone up and back. And as the twist deepens, keep your knee fixed. Inhale, begin to stand. Exhaling, lift out of the belly to come up, holding your hips. Turn your feet forward and step your feet together. Stand on your mat with your feet wide and parallel with each other. Extend your arms at shoulder level, adjusting your feet to be in line with your hands. Now hold your hips. Warrior pose 1. Turn your left foot to the right about 10 degrees and your right leg out 90 degrees, aligning your right knee to face your toes. Pull your right hip back to help turn your hips to face the head of your mat. Keep your left heel well anchored. That's very important. As you breathe in and raise your arms overhead, strongly stretching the arms and lifting your chest towards your chin. Breathing in, bend your right leg to a 90-degree angle. Exhale, positioning the right knee over the ankle with your thigh parallel to the floor. Make any adjustment in your stance needed to give you that 90-degree bend. Expand and lift the chest from your side ribs and continue to breathe steadily as you sweep your arms back, deepening the back bend. Inhale, straighten your front knee as you bring your spine upright. And exhale, lowering your arms, hold your hips, and turn your feet forward. Moving to the second side. Right foot turns slightly in, left leg turns out 90 degrees, knees facing the toes. And pull your left hip back to help turn the hips to face the head of the mat. Warrior 1 is a pose that develops both strength and flexibility. Keep your back leg anchored as you breathe in, sweeping the arms forward and overhead. Stretch the arms up, lifting your chest towards your chin. And continue to breathe steadily, mouth closed, exhalations and inhalations equal. Breathing in, bend your left knee and breathe out into your lunge, knee over heel, thigh parallel to the floor. And if you're ready for a deeper challenge, breathe out, rolling your arms and shoulders back and down to deepen the back bend. All the while, keep your elbows straight and your chest lifting. Believe it or not, to relax your back muscles is the goal here. Come out of the pose by straightening the knee, turning forward, lowering your arms, and stepping your feet together. Reclining leg stretch is practiced lying on your back. Lying on your back while working towards greater flexibility in your hips and legs lessens your chance of tweaking the lower back. So this is a perfect pose for those stiff morning muscles. Also, I suggest you use a strap, at least in the beginning, to help you do the pose more easily. So have your strap nearby, and holding your left knee, breathe in, stretch your right leg up, and lengthen the back of your leg, keeping the foot active as you lower it to the floor. Do this slowly, and continue stretching the back of your leg even when the heel comes to the floor. Now gently push your left knee into your hands. You'll feel a response in your left hip. This is getting the blood flowing into the joint and strengthening the hip at the same time. Continue to keep your right leg active. Now take your strap and loop it around the ball of your left foot, keeping your left knee slightly bent. If you don't have a strap, you can hold the back of your leg with your hands. And if you're quite flexible, you can hold your big toe with the index and middle finger of your left hand. But you need to be able to keep your right leg extended and your left shoulder relaxed. I encourage you to move at an honest pace. Now, slowly begin to straighten your left knee, just as much as you can. Again, keep the right leg active. Your goal is to balance the action between the right and left leg. Bending your left knee and then re-straightening it a couple of times may help you get more comfortable. But again, don't overdo this. Don't rush it. Just coax these muscles into moving slowly towards greater extension. This pose is more challenging than you might expect. A sedentary lifestyle can cause your leg and hip muscles, even your lower back, to become quite tight. Still, chances are you were once much more flexible than you are now. So with patient practice, you will be again, restoring what is naturally yours. Even holding this stretch for a minute or two, you may find yourself able to straighten your knee a little more. Certainly your breath may relax. And when you're ready, release and hug your knees to your chest, pausing for a moment to feel the sensations resonating from the stretch you just finished. You may even feel a little bit more open and light. Now hold your right knee. Breathing in, stretch the left leg up. Hold that position a moment, feeling the width and length of your back leg. Now slowly lower that leg to the floor, keeping it active. Pause while the foot is still in the air to enhance the activity of the back leg, calf stretching all the way to the heel, even as you bring your heel down. Holding your knee, exhale and push your knee into your hands, holding it for a few seconds. Again, feel the muscles in your right hip engage. They're waking up. As you hold your right knee, continue to extend your left leg. The more your hamstrings and calves flow towards your heel, the more you're going to be able to press the left thigh into your mat. And this, in turn, will isolate the action of this pose to your hips. Now, holding a strap or your toe, pause for a moment to make sure your left leg is still active. And then slowly, beginning with the breath in and moving with the breath out, straighten your right leg. Remember, your leg may not straighten completely today or for quite a while. This pose is much more about surrender than it is about effort. And maintaining a steady, relaxed breath will help. There's no hurry. Patience and persistence are the key. Continue to focus on the work of the floor leg, even though the sensations in the right leg are probably stronger. And if you want to bend your right knee a little bit or loosen the grip on the belt to make this pose feel steadier and more balanced, then that's what you do. And there is nothing much better you can do for your lower back than to become flexible in your hips and legs. So stay with this, make small adjustments. Bending and re-straightening your right knee when you need to. And just savoring the stretch of waking up your muscles. Breathing in, bend both knees and gently hug them to your chest as you breathe out. And pause for a moment to savor the feeling. Begin this simple seated twist, upright in a cross-legged position with your right ankle in front of your left. Elevate your hips on a folded blanket if that helps you to keep your spine straight. Stay seated in this position for a moment to make sure that your spine is straight and your breath is steady. Now with your left hand, hold your right knee, placing your right hand on the floor behind you. This creates a gentle spinal twist. Keep your breathing slow and easy, making space to breathe out. Begin to juice up the twist by exhaling and pressing down with both hands. You'll feel the muscles in your back respond. Pull your right shoulder slightly back, turning your head to the right to deepen the twist more. And you may be able to reach behind your back to hold your left thigh, but that's fine if you can't do it. Simply put your right hand on the floor again. Now again, pay attention to your breathing. If you can't breathe steadily, back away from the twist a bit. And while you hold the twist, continue to relax your back muscles. I'll often move my spine slightly, just to make sure I'm not stiffening. Inhale and release this side. And change your cross legs so the left ankle is in front of the right. And your right hand now holds your left knee. Place the left hand on the floor behind you. Remember the importance of breathing steadily. If you're not breathing well in a twist, your muscles are not happy either. So don't force. Work at your own pace. With an exhalation, press down through both hands to engage your muscles more, pulling your left shoulder back and rotating your head to the left. And again, you can reach behind your back to hold your right thigh if that's possible. But your pose is not necessarily better if you hold your thigh. Push your hand into the floor instead if this gives you a better feeling in your back. So steady breathing, fluid spine. Inhale, release the twist. Exhale, facing forward, resting your hands on your knees. Ideally, we finish each yoga practice resting in a pose called Shavasana, corpse pose. You lie on your back in a pose I call constructive rest, knees bent, feet flat, and by all means put a support under your head as I'm demonstrating if you feel any tightness in your neck, shoulders, or face. Rest your arms on the floor and relax your shoulders. You can take your arms a little wider if that helps your shoulders rest even more. With your knees bent, your lower back can relax, allowing you to now straighten your legs and let them fall open and still be comfortable in the lower back. If your back does hurt, simply bend your knees and place your feet on the floor again. Now, with your eyes closed, simply fall back into your pose. You've stretched and strengthened your muscles, squeezed out tension, and waked yourself up. So you can now, and feel this, lie on your back and simply fall into the floor. Turn your attention to your breathing. The soothing rhythm of the breath in and out will help you relax any tension that remains in your muscles. Feel the body gently expand as you breathe in, and just as gently relax with each breath out, and feel how the breath out allows you to sink more deeply into the floor. The floor begins to feel soft. Allow your belly to completely soften. And let that softness radiate out through your legs and arms. Nothing but relaxing. It's not something you can make happen. You simply let go. So deeply that you simply witness the gentle rhythm of breathing in and out, and your body falling back into the earth below. Now rolling slowly to your right, rest your head on your arm for a moment and bend your knees. And when you're ready, come up to sit, joining your palms together at your chest. Namaste.